Hello, good morning, guys. How are you? And how are you doing today? Our topic for today is living things, and we are actually stressing on the habitat of living things. So, from introduction, living things are organisms that have life and possess the eight characteristics. And you know the eight characteristics from our GSS1, Mr. Niger D. That's movement, respiration, nutrition, irritability, growth, excretion, production, and death. Every living organism, whether plants or animals, has specific place it lives or where it can be found. Yes, every living organism. When we're talking about living organism, we're talking about us, human beings, animals, and everything. So when we're talking about organisms, we are talking about both human beings and plants. So and if you notice, both human beings and plants and animals, they all have different places where they can be found or where they live. So this place where living organisms lives or inhabit is called habitat. So a habitat is the natural place where living organisms live. So anything that is living and it is an organism, the natural place where it lives is called a habitat. So human beings live on land. So land is our habitat. We can't survive in water. So water is not our habitat. So wherever an organism, a living organism dwells or lives is called an habitat. So habitat offers a shelter-friendly climatic condition and food to an organism which enable the organisms to survive. So what we are trying to say is that for human beings now, we live on land because we can survive on land. The climatic condition is favorable to us. We can obtain our food even from land and everything. But you can't expect a fish to live on land. The climatic condition is not okay for him. They breathe in. They are created to breathe underwater, so they can't survive on land. So that's why if you take a fish from a pond and you drop it the on the ground, it will last after a few minutes or few seconds because the climatic condition is not suitable for them. So we have types of habitat. Number one, we have the aquatic habitat. Number two, we have the terrestrial habitat. Number three, and we have the arboreal habitat. So now let's talk about the aquatic habitat. As the name implies, aqua means water. I'm very sure we might have been familiar with this bottled water that is named aqua. There's a bottled water named aqua. So the word aqua means water. Whenever you see whether there's also a movie called Aquaman. If you notice, the man is always inside the water. If most of us that must have watched that movie, you will notice the whole movie was actually done inside the water. So as the name implies, aqua means water. Therefore, aquatic habitat is a water environment where living organisms live. So aquatic habitat is a water environment. So anything where you see aquatic habitat is a water environment where living organisms where they live. The plants and animals that can be found in or near this habitat are called aquatic plants and aquatic animals. So anything that dwells in an aquatic habitat is either called an aquatic animal or an aquatic plant. So plants found in water include golden button, water urchin, water soldier, duckweed, cattails, sedges, and water lilies. These are the different kind of plants that we can find inside water. Because when you go deep into the oceans, you see different plants there surviving there, and there are some plants that cannot survive underwater. So we have plants that survive underwater, they are called aquatic plants, and we have animals that survive underwater, and they are called what? Aquatic animals. Examples of aquatic animals that live in water are what? The lobsters, the octopus, snakes, prawns, frog, fish, whale, turtles, crocodiles and etc. So we now know these animals that live underwater, which they are called aquatic animals. So we move on to the next type, which says terrestrial habitat. So let's read about terrestrial habitat. As the name implies, terra means ground. So meaning from even the word we can know the habitat. From the word aqua we could find out then that aqua means water, and from this one so we can also get it that terra means ground. There's also a movie called Terra Nova. They were all in the jungle all through the movie too. So from that word terra you can actually picture, even if you don't, if something says terra blah 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 blah, once you see the word terra you know that that thing is actually talking about the land, the ground actually. So therefore terrestrial habitat is a land environment where living organisms live or can be found. So land environment, just like now we are terrestrial beings because we can live on land. We can't live in water. If we were to be living in water, we would have been called aquatic beings or aquatic animals. But now we can't be called that. We are under terrestrial animals or terrestrial beings. So examples of terrestrial habitat are forest. Forest is also on the land, so it's an habitat. It's a habitat. We also have farmland. Farmland is also on the ground, so it's a habitat. We have grassland. Grassland is also on the ground, so it's a habitat. We have the rainforest, we have the desert, and etc. They are all on the ground. They are all on the land, so they are terrestrial. So the plants and animals that can be found in or near this habitat are called terrestrial animals or plants respectively. So terrestrial animals include human beings. Like I said, we are terrestrial beings. Lions, tigers, etc., goats, chicken, and blah blah blah. Terrestrial plants that can be found on land, we have wheat, we have crops, we have plants, we have trees, grasses, etc. So those are examples of terrestrial plants and terrestrial animals. There's also another thing we call arboreal habitat. Arboreal habitat. That's the third type of habitat. Arboreal habitat. Arboreal habitat is the type of environment above the ground level. This is neither in the water or on the ground. It is above. It is above the ground level. They are not on land. They are always above the ground, like up. They are always up on the surface, above the ground. And let's check something. Let's see more. Most organisms that live in this type of habitat live inside or on trees, or on top of buildings. So they live above. Any animal you see that lives above the land and lives on maybe trees or loves to be on buildings, tall buildings and everything, they are called arboreals. And examples of animals found in this type of habitat include birds. You notice birds, they actually stay on, you notice them on our roofs, you notice them on trees. Monkeys especially, they love trees. Insects too. Some insects like termites and coal, they love being inside the wood, like trees and everything. We have tree snakes. There are some snakes that also love to dwell around trees, and we have the ones that actually stay on rocks. We have those ones too, and we have tree squirrels and etc. So these are all examples of what arboreal animals, animals that dwell on trees and buildings. So that is all about habitats that we'll be talking about today. So like we said, we defined a habitat. We mentioned the types of habitats: the aquatic, the terrestrial, the arboreal. We discussed the aquatic habitat, saying anywhere you find aqua means water. We discussed the terrestrial habitat, meaning anywhere you find the word terrestrial. Anywhere you find the word terra, it means ground. And lastly, we discussed the arboreal habitat. So note, assignments will be dropped on their homework portal. I'll drop the assignment on the homework portal, and if you are to have any questions concerning this, you have to send them on the readable section of the portal. So I want you to copy this note, have a note, copy, put this down in your note. The document will also be sent in as much as I will send the video. Have a wonderful week ahead of you. Thank you very much.